And we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back after a brief hiatus of about a month to Changeling the Lost Smoky Mountain Wilds. I am William Oshani, and I am your storyteller for this Changeling the Lost Second Edition Chronicle. Joining me once again, we have Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I am playing Cassandra Clare, the elemental polychromatic.
Cassandra Scott.
Scott, yeah, what? I finished one of her books last week, that's why. Cassandra Scott. Not the critically acclaimed author of the Mortal Instruments series.
And Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie. I am playing Joe Arbor, who is an elemental notary.
And related to the last one, an author.
Yeah.
And doing what?
And an author.
Related to the last entry, yeah. And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing words. Jackson Montgomery, Marlene Dubois, who is a Ferris Changeling.
I was trying to figure out a way to connect Marlena to the author thing, but brain did not come up with anything.
Something, read something.
Reading is fundamental.
Yep.
And Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin. I'm playing Frank and Lisa, who are bats, and there's words to describe what they are, but I don't remember them. And I'm trying to pull my character sheet up, and I am not remembering how to use the Roll20 UI either.
Beast, Lethopomp, and Polychromatic.
That's it. Thank you. What she said. I point in the direction that she is on my Zoom call. She's probably not the direction of the Twitch stream, so I'm going to cover all my angles.
Down is what you're looking for. Although technically, that if you point down, that points to Katie, but Julia's below Katie.
So double down, so 2 downs.
Yes.
2 down.
There you go.
1 across.
Real professionals here.
And Drevian.
I'm playing Frisian, the Darkling Hunterheart.
Long as internet.
Assuming your internet allows you to.
I was going to say for at least the next 5 minutes.
Oh, that's being generous.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Sorry, Trev. I'm sorry.
I have no idea what's up with my internet. The last couple of days, it's just occasionally doesn't like to cooperate. And it seems to be an ISP issue.
Such is the internet.
Yep.
Welcome all to Gay Greed Month. I believe we established December was.
Is it green?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, because November was glutton.
Yep.
Gluttony.
November was gluttony. October was sloth. No, October was lust.
Correct.
But yeah, welcome all to Gay Greed Month, and as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, eat the rich, believe women. I'm sure there's topical conversations to be had at the moment. Do not trust any lawyer that has ever worked for for anyone who has lived in Mar-a-Lago.
Lawyers kill them tonight.
I'm trying to think of anything.
Another one is in legal hot water.
I mean, that's because it's a day ending with Y. I don't know the specifics, but apparently fuck Mark Noir.
Who?
I'm sorry, I'm in shock that you're implying that rich people who are paid to get other rich people out of trouble that they would legally be in could also possibly be corrupt.
For context, Mark Millar is a comic book writer. Wrote some fairly seminal volumes of stuff, but apparently has gone anti-progressive, anti-woke, cancel culture ruins everything, etc. in a rant over the weekend.
But yeah, so
Ugh.
Yep.
when last we left off the Motley, because it's been a bit. The group of them had dispersed in a couple of different groups over the evening of Halloween to variously gather glamour in a haunted house, gather glamour off the street, go looking for any information they might be able to find, or spend time talking with family. The group had roughly reconvened into two groups, barring wherever Frank and Lisa are at right now. In that one group is Cassandra with her spouse and sibling and other family, talking about their various supernatural qualities, and the other being the remaining group aside from Frank and Lisa, who had adjourned to a nearby strip club by the name of Daisy Dukes.
With C's.
Yeah, with C's.
Z.
With Z's. Z's where the S's go. But the group of them, having taken some time to have conversations about what they plan to do next in upcoming days, and what and getting into arguments with each other about various things, also noticed a mysterious rune that had not been there previously, that was suddenly appeared to be burned into the wall above the bar, that no one else seemed to have been paying too much attention to. But upon sending the symbol back to Cassandra and Tyr relayed that it appeared to be witch sign, the sign of someone using magic, like traditional, like doing weird funky stuff magic, not fey magic. But also Frisian came to the realization that that symbol was one that was worn by their great nephew when they had encountered them. I think great nephew is the maybe two
Yeah.
greats in there.
It's about right.
Definitely with some level of greatness.
I think it was great. I
Great
think it was
grandnephew,
fun.
I think.
Something
So
like
grandnephew or great grandnephew or two greats. I don't know which.
some kind of relation.
But recall that that was a symbol that they had been wearing when they had encountered them previously. And that's where we left off, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes.
Sounds
So
about right.
for that, did any of you have anything else to do for the rest of the evening before we move on to the next day?
No, I think we were just all like, I think we all headed back to Marlena's.
That was the plan, yes.
Yeah, we all
After a little bit of, I'm sorry, what the fuck? About the, or symbol.
Oh, gotcha.
So the group of you head back to Marlena's place for the evening. And have a night. All of you get a rest, which means you get a willpower back if you're missing any. You also all will recover. If any of you are still wounded, you will recover a point of lethal damage over the course of the night of rest. I don't know if any of you are injured at all.
I don't believe so.
Unless
I don't know.
being drunk counts as being injured. I don't think so.
Nope.
So the group of you come to in the morning. I don't remember if there were any scenes that needed to happen. It's been a while that needed to happen before the next morning. But the morning comes, starting with the larger of the two groups, the group that is in Marlena's house, as names are flying out of my head. It has been a long several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with them, who is up first?
I will probably.
All right.
I'm just going to be in the kitchen somewhere, and like nothing. They're just going through about typical morning, and it's just in the kitchen,
Who's up
and
next?
whoever else gets up.
Frisian will probably get up.
Yeah, that tracks. Frisian's probably a fairly early riser. What's Frisian up to when they wake up?
Probably goes to get a drink from the kitchen.
So the first person that you see in the morning, Marlena, is Frisian when they come down.
Morning, how are you feeling?
Feeling decently well.
Good. So, how are we gonna deal with that revelation we had last night? Given any thought?
I imagine we should probably try to talk to my grandnephew again.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
But at the same time, it feels like it might be weird if we just call him out of the blue. Because he didn't give me his number or anything.
He didn't. Okay. Well, I mean, you know where he walks, though, right?
Yeah, I ran into him while out jogging by your friend's bar.
People tend to jog in the same locations out of habit. Seems like it shouldn't be difficult to arrange a run in again.
Probably. Like, just be over there in the early morning.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if your friend's seen him around there. If they might know him.
Entirely possible. I can give Violet a call and find out. So that's the easy part. The harder part is when we do bump into him, how do you approach the conversation? Because I believe it had a plan. I don't remember what it is. Feels like I drank enough that it's been last night that it's been like a month or something like that.
Well, there is probably one thing that you remember, which was a certain promise that was made towards Joe.
Oh, I remember that.
Of course you do. But Joe's not downstairs, so
Nope.
Not yet.
So I believe we had some discussion about and correct me if I'm wrong. You portraying yourself as essentially your own grandchild, something like that,
Yeah.
or great grandchild. I don't remember which. Wonder if we know anybody who can falsify some records. But I don't know, sweetie, this is all up to you on how you want to approach it. I'm just offering suggestions. All right, you cut out there, so I'm not sure if you heard. Um, this is all. It's up to you how you want to approach it. I'm just offering suggestions.
Mhm. I think the easiest way is like bump into him again on the while out on a run.
Mhm.
I could probably just ask about his necklace and the symbol, and not bring up the relation at first, because that might be odd.
That's and actually, that's actually a good point because if this symbol is some kind of, I don't know, whatever it is, wizard society or whatever, then we may not have to go through some bullshit rigmarole of I'm my own grandchild from when I was on when I but not me was on overseas or whatever convoluted nonsense we would have to come up with. They may be perfectly aware, and I'd just say, "Hi, I'm me."
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe investigating that first. That's a good point. Investigating that first, seeing if it's just weird coincidence. I don't think it's just a weird coincidence. Um, but figure out a little bit more that way.
Mhm.
All right, sounds good. You hungry?
A little bit.
I will go to start making breakfast stuff. Lots of breakfast stuff because I know there's other people in the house.
Eventually,
Yep.
food is made, and other people begin to awaken and come down. Between the two of you, I feel like Joe might be up after Frank, if I were to take a guess.
Probably.
You're muted, Austin.
Frank wakes up slightly on the early side, but not, abnormally so. So
Not abnormally early or abnormally late.
Slightly early, not abnormally early.
Okay, got it.
Which, by Austin's definition, I'm assuming is 7-ish.
yeah, probably.
No, I certainly just, even if she hadn't had half the bar the night before, I still think Joe would be an early riser. If she didn't have to be.
That's fair.
So she and probably James are gonna roll down like the last last two people.
In fairness,
Mm-hmm.
I think once actual food is ready, um, Jackson will go to the probably I'm making assumptions that this is something that is in the house because it is a large wealthy house and extravagantly so I assume. We'll go over to I don't know, it's probably like in the living room type area, and go to the sound system and just put on, I think, um, just something that is annoying enough, like I've got it,
What?
the Barney theme,
Oh
Dear
God!
but we'll only turn it on in one particular wing of the house.
Of course, because the sound system of this house would absolutely be granular to where you wanted to play sound.
Yep.
And seeing
That
as I
particular wing being exactly where the two of you are sleeping, I'm assuming.
Yep.
probably. However, if I know anything about sound systems, because at least this is the way I've seen them work in houses before, if you don't want to hear what's playing over the speaker, you can turn it down.
Generally.
Generally, yes.
Turn it off. Yes.
It does
So
require you to get up and walk over to where the sound system interface is in your room, though. At which point you have
and
gotten
then I
out of
turn
bed.
right back around and put my ass back into bed.
About 5 minutes later, the room next to yours starts playing it even louder. So it bleeds through into the walls.
Nope. Heavy sleeper. Nope.
And then it just continues to build.
And then it just continues to build. Like every 5 minutes, just go in and turn the volume up in the room next door by a notch.
I
And
think
then after a few more minutes, the room on the opposite side next
Yep.
to you also begins to play the sound.
And then the one across the hallway.
And they're not in sync either.
Nope. So it's like getting that song in the round.
bold of you to assume that Joe isn't one of those people that has like the eye mask and like the ear buds or the ear things that people sleep in.
No, but it'll probably annoy James enough that like, get time for us to get up, God damn
James
it.
is not so fortunate.
Here's the thing. Right? Joe doesn't hear it. Even if James does, if he's been married longer than 5 minutes, he knows.
That's true.
He knows better than to wake up his wife before she is ready to be. Unless they're just particularly, don't
unless they feel
subscribe
like
to that.
teasing you.
Which, is my experience generally.
Unless they feel like teasing you, which I have understood from at least from James's perspective is quite often.
Yeah.
James also knows when not to tease if he values living.
Yes.
And I feel like mourning applies.
I feel eventually it's kind of more of the like, it's because she probably is very startled whenever she does wake up if she's anything like me. But we was like, hey, honey, Babe?
I think out of the group of them, James is the one who's definitely up first, and there's a shift in the blankets that you might be aware of as he gets up out of the bed, and you feel the faintest flash of heat for a second, and then he steps out of the room.
And Joe rouses just enough, like, I gotta see this. And that's what gets it. She doesn't wake up to the music. She wakes up because she wants to know what the fuck James is gonna do in this situation. So she very, very sleepily comes downstairs, just waiting to see what happens. Not bothered in the slightest by the music that is happening.
So James, half dressed, no shirt on, just pants. No shoes, no socks, just pants.
It'd be weird if he was sleeping in socks and shoes, but okay.
No, like he didn't bother putting anything on.
I mean,
literally just pants.
Yeah.
Like steps out, and James is a broadly built dude, and to those of you who can see under the mask, it is very much just sort of like the like bright green of dragon scales around a relatively broad individual, and then sort of like the yellowish like underscale tone around the center of the chest and the abdomen. As he sort of steps out and leans over the side of the railing that leads down to the ground floor, and there is a gout of flame that doesn't catch anything on fire because it's there and gone too quickly, but it definitely makes a noise and has a visible light show as he just goes, "Could you not?" And there's just a burst of flame that heads down. And again,
And then quickly shuts off at that point. Like, oh good, you're up. Food's on.
Morning, y'all.
Morning.
James trudges down the stairs.
Probably around the same time that Frank is coming downstairs, dressed as normal in the morning, in nothing, because he is a completely androgynous furry.
It's just you got the cat in the hat, not even with a hat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much furry art you've seen, but like for the most part, there's plenty of just they have fur, and they're drawn without any sort of,
So what's on the menu? What we got?
It's going to be like just a pretty, like, Jackson is not a incredibly not like a super talented, but can do basic stuff. So it's just a pretty basic egg, sausage, pancakes, etc.
There are pancakes.
Huh?
There are pancakes, correct?
There are pancakes.
Okay.
Joe is going to take 4 pieces of toast, some scrambled eggs, and some bacon, and make her own breakfast sandwiches.
Cool.
Sprinkle some cheese on there. Get a drink.
James definitively takes a heaping portion of everything and throws it into a bowl that would probably be more traditionally used for mixing rather than eating out of.
Works for Jackson.
The only non-meat that Frank will ever eat is pancakes.
You
So, filling up on pancakes and bacon.
Joe is just gonna look over at James's bowl and just go like, some things never change. Eating.
Look, I only got a bigger appetite since I started having a literal furnace.
That is absolutely fair.
Not I'm not judging. I'm just saying you've always had a healthy appetite. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
How did everybody sleep? What is our plans for the day?
Slept like a rock.
Good.
As for plans, okay. This is gonna sound strange coming from me, but I need our fetch situation taken care of. And I don't want to take the steering wheel, and I don't want to like have it be priority number one. But I need to get the ball rolling because it is driving me crazy, and I feel like the other shoe's gonna drop, and I gotta move on. I gotta move on. I gotta get something. We gotta get something on the calendar. We gotta get something set up. I just need to know that this is not gonna be me looking over my shoulder looking for my in-laws trying to chop my head off.
That is entirely fair. And I can understand that. I may have been on a burn everything down crusade to do so myself until recently.
Yeah, I'm ready to close that chapter and move on and build a life. And I just feel like I feel like it's holding me back, and I don't like it.
So what do you need?
Well, we had talked about using your connections with the we're using the charity connections with the LGBTQ youth
Mm-hmm.
in getting some kind of in using your now wealthy assets in pool.
Considerable resources.
Because that's the one. Considerable resources to pull these fetches into a dinner where we can just confront them and take them out.
Okay.
That's what we had talked about. If somebody has a different idea,
I think we can definitely build on that. The tricky notion there is we can definitely use that as a starting point on what to, on how to approach this. The tricky aspect I've been thinking about this is that I don't have to deal with is to the outside world. Nobody died in my case because I was able to immediately step in to its situation. There is nobody who can immediately step in with your in-laws because they're still
doing anything like that in public is going to lead straight into a homicide investigation because we won't have anybody to replace them.
or in private. Even if we use something as simple as I mean, if they vanish, there's going to be an investigation. There's no doubt about it. They're rich,
Also, always happens with rich folks. Yeah, I know.
influential, and if the last thing they had on their calendar was
A dinner party. Yeah.
What if we got the real ones out of so they could replace them?
Does the real ones also want me dead?
You know, I bet if you rescue them from Arcadia, they'd feel a lot better about you.
the flaw in that plan
You're an optimist.
is that we have to go directly up against. This isn't wandering into the hedge.
Yeah, this is going up against the thing
This is going into a keeper's realm.
We don't know what happened to them. We don't know where they're at.
I do know the same thing that took us, motioning to James, also took them. And I'm not too inclined to arrange that meeting.
Like, I'm all for the notion of breaking people, of getting people free from the same imprisonment we were all in. But I am less comfortable with the notion of tangling it up with people in the process, or doing so in a way that will potentially put me back there. James, I'm sure your parents are wonderful people. And I am saying that in the I am being polite way. But if it comes down to me or them, it is them.
James, who is in the middle of like downing something to drink with his food, puts it back on the table and is like, I'm in no fucking rush.
No rush to find them or no rush to do something about the fetches?
No rush to find them. Yes. I'd mentioned it previously. I am not exactly itching to jump back into danger just to rescue them, of all people.
So I'm formulating an idea.
Should we, at the very least, have all of us in this conversation?
Probably.
That sounds like a good idea.
I'm just going to say what is immediately in my brain so it gets out there and I do not forget it. Well, I will forget it anyways, but somebody will be able to remind me. So, problem number one. The intention here is eliminate the fetches and pull me in terms of resource transit or resource and property acquisition. We can do that secretively. That's fine. But if they vanish and all of a sudden the rightful heirs happen to turn up after having been not around for a while, that raises questions. So if we can get you both appearing publicly somewhere for at least a little while so it's established a bit, that might alleviate that.
Problem is, there's also a fetch of me around.
That's right. Never mind. Problem solved.
I can take my own fetch's place, but I can't really take the place of my parents.
Problem
Also,
alleviated somewhat.
I'm fairly certain that the fetches of my parents would know that I'm not the fetch of me.
Well, of course. Because are we assuming that they are that the fetch is with them?
As far as we know, after everything that went down, the fetch of me went back and is now living with my family.
Yes.
Nonsense.
So if we can wipe them all out and you take over, I'll be honest, that'll put some law enforcement suspicion on you in terms of financial. You look at who will benefit in such a situation. But
I mean,
that can
it'll
be
also look.
stonewalled away.
It can also look a little strange if he takes over and then stops being a rich jerk. All of a
Yeah.
sudden,
Well,
after
honestly, I don't think when we looked the stuff up, the fetch wasn't doing much.
Yeah,
Like they weren't
far
really
as-
making headlines.
As far as the fetch of me is concerned, they don't seem to have turned a 180 the same way that Jackson's fetch did, but they do seem to have sort of secluded themselves from public eye in general.
Correct.
all right. The follow-up
Anyway.
question: what happens if we do all this, and then, pointing at her, mom and dad get out on their own, and they've
Well,
been dead for 5 or 10 years?
Cross that bridge when we come to it. That's something that we're gonna have is gonna have to be dealt with one way or the other. It's not like
I'm just
we can wait
saying,
for the
Faye Timon, right? We're gonna do this, and then a week later, they're gonna pop out of the hedge somewhere and like wander lost into a police station. They're gonna hear about what happened, and I'm just saying.
Frank, I understand that you very much want to rescue these people.
I'm just saying.
I understand. You are just saying. You've said that like 7 times now.
It puts us in a bad spot.
We're in a bad spot no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what's a worse spot? Being back in the keeper's realm because we thought we could rescue a couple changelings and then became the new cellmates. That's a much worse spot.
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna be any more lenient on escapees coming back.
Yeah, do not put me in a cell with my in-laws. Are you?
You make valid points, and those are hurdles we are going to have to overcome if the in-laws ever make their way out. Keep in mind, the number of us that actually get out is astronomically low. I'm assuming, based on the number of people I've seen.
Yeah, there's only been a couple dozen, maybe 3.
Yeah, but the odds get higher if it causes some sort of cosmic mischief to other changelings.
Absolutely.
That.
But we're just gonna have to deal with that possibility. And if they do pop out and I don't know, end up in a way that makes it extremely difficult for us, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. We can't plan for
Every.
I mean, we can sort of take that idea into account and lean more on disappearance than murder, at least
for
as
sure.
far as the public is concerned. Because, I mean, wealthy people get kidnapped all the time.
They don't even have to be kidnapped. They can...
Or they could always, like, do the amnesia thing.
My point being the from our experience, fetches don't really leave a blood stain. So
no,
them having
oil marks.
disappeared mysteriously and potentially having been kidnapped by somebody leaves the option that they might show up again sometime in the future without us having to immediately deal with them in the present.
Well, they give to a number of charitable causes and do charity work, right?
Generally.
They just took a trip, a long distance trip for a new charitable endeavor
Never came back. Yeah.
in Belarus. I don't know,
In the Amazon rainforest.
the Amazon rainforest, Antarctica,
We'll work on that.
fucking Chimkatka. I don't give a shit. Somewhere that they are Kiev. Somewhere that they are far away from any kind of situation.
Fucking Siberia.
Delightful.
Where are these places?
Very far away. We
Likely Asia.
We need to get you, I don't know, some kind of recollection or at least some re-education of just world geography, if nothing else.
Get them an atlas and a globe.
Well, we have some notions, at least now.
Globe. The world's round?
Yes. You might have been able to tell by the shadow we cast on the moon if it's in the sky.
Beg your pardon?
The shadow the Earth casts on the moon.
Sweetie.
What do you mean the
You
Earth casts a shadow on the moon?
you just I love you, but you're not going to get anywhere with this except frustrated.
How would the Earth cast a shadow on the moon?
As it's on the other side of the sun from us.
And you just keep going.
How do we see it?
Because it's reflecting light off the sun.
Rocks don't reflect light.
Oh my god.
I told him to. Okay, you know
Oh
what?
my
No.
god. I swear to God, if you ever had a thought, it would die of loneliness.
In any event, am I going to be the one to call Cassandra?
Yes. Go ahead.
Meanwhile,
I gotta go look up this Earth being round thing.
Oh my god.
you know, if you Google, like I'm like 70% certain that if you start Googling about the Earth being round, you will end up on flat Earther sites.
Probably.
100%.
Oh my
I'm gonna
god.
do that right now, and I'm gonna determine what he finds out.
Are you actually doing it?
Yeah, and I'm opening up a
If you in fairness,
new browsing tab and or a new window and using a different search engine than usual and everything to see how unbiased results I can get.
if you Google "is the Earth round," the first thing that comes up is in big letters. Yes, the Earth is roughly a sphere.
I still love that for the longest time, the Flat Earthers Society page had in their tagline that the Flat Earth Society has members from all around the globe.
Oh yeah.
The problem is immediately under that, after like, you know, the question section, is a link that says, how do we know the Earth is round? Which gives you the right information, but it's very long and boring. Then the YouTube videos.
Oh, the first one I see is it says the
YouTube videos.
The Earth isn't round. The Earth isn't round, but it isn't flat.
Correct.
From BBC Earth.
And then, is the Earth really round? And then, Earth is not as round as you know it.
Oh my god.
Look, you do your thing. I'm doing some search engine going.
I need to close Google. I can't do Google right now.
Oh man. So Cassandra, how is your morning going?
I'm assuming I'm a mom with 2 kids who is a chronic early riser who overworks herself. Lily and Dawn our college kids. I am up first.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So she will get. She'll just throw on like sweatpants and a t-shirt and go down and just start making breakfast. She's gonna do very simple, just pancakes, sausage and eggs, and going to try her best to be quiet, as to not wake the two who are sleeping in the living room on the pull-out couch.
That's boring.
Bellona is down shortly after you, yawning as she walks into the kitchen.
Handing mug of coffee.
Thank you very much. She immediately starts downing it.
I think she will just poke her head out of the kitchen, look into the living room.
Two of them are spooned on the couch, just still passed out.
I think last night went really well.
All things considered, yeah.
I mean, no one died, and nobody pressed charges, so it went pretty well.
Yeah. I'm sure eventually I'll become acclimatized to that effect that she has.
I sure hope so. Which, by the way, grab something, I guess, and she's gonna open her cabinets, grab out a pan and a kettle, and walk out and just bang them together over top of the couch.
Because they don't have a sound system. This is the sound system.
Hang on, I need to make a roll for Lily.
I'm ready to just face down 8-foot tall killing monster.
I was gonna say I did that with a certain level of impunity. You're tempting the fates.
No,
Oh, damn. Okay.
if you wait, holy shit.
And by fates I mean 8-foot tall rage monsters.
She's got a control of that temper.
Apparently so. With an exceptional success. 5 successes on 5 dice.
Oh my god.
My immediate thought was with such a high resolve, the resolve is to stay asleep.
Have you ever tried to wake a college kid?
So you start banging the pans together, and on about like you start to pull them back apart after the third bang. And as they start to come back together, there's just one hand with index and thumb with pinky and thumb spread out that just comes out between them, and they just stop as Lily's hand comes up between them. It felt like you were slamming them into a brick wall.
Morning, Starshine.
Dancing Meadow.
I got breakfast made for you too. I would say whenever you get around to it, but coffee's fresh and hey, look you up.
And she rolls. She doesn't. She was the larger of the two spoons, so she instead of like pushing Dawn out of the way, she just rolls backwards off the couch, away from Dawn, and lets her stay where she's at, and like rolls back and up and off the back of the couch, and comes down in a standing position by doing so. She still doesn't look awake. She looks like she rolled into a standing position while still half asleep. I have done that maneuver.
Something tells me you practiced that move once or twice. Anyway, like I said, coffee's fresh.
Yeah, okay.
And she will scamper back into the kitchen. if we get the bigger house, the girls can come stay. She says, saying to Tyr unprompted as she walks in.
Tyr tries not to choke at the concept, and then restrains themselves. Yeah, all right.
Oh, right. That might be an issue for you. I don't need you addicted to antipsychotics.
Like I said, I'll acclimatize eventually.
I would still suggest.
I don't know if that's a good thing that I would.
I was gonna
acclimatize
say.
eventually.
I would still suggest if she ever goes full wolf monster on you, just either lay down and die or just run as fast as you can. One will be swift for you, the other will be fun for her.
Look, I keep silver ammunition around for a reason.
Ugh.
I told you last night, you shoot my sister, I'm cutting things off. And I don't mean the relationship.
I have a right to defend myself.
But that is true. If she comes after you, I will give you the right to defend yourself.
Like I said, I keep silver around for a reason. I typically don't go after werewolves. I just need to be ready if they decide to come after me.
Now I'm wondering if our next kid's gonna be a werewolf or a changeling.
Why not both?
Metaphysically, that's impossible.
And I feel like if a keeper tried to take a werewolf, they would be in for a nasty surprise.
No, they get the werewolf. It would just stop being a werewolf, I feel like.
Or it would just, sidestep into the Umbra and be gone.
Honestly, I feel like they'd probably just be like, not worth the trouble.
This one's too pointy, leave it alone.
Yes. Why do I need a furry thing when I can just grab the mortal right next to it, right next to him, make my own?
I made my own werewolf with guns.
Oh my god.
100%.
Just Gatling gun for arms.
Anyway. I was about to ask, is it the werewolf holding the guns or is the werewolf made of guns?
Made of guns.
Okay.
Oh my god. Y'all.
But furry guns.
The funnier part is I can think of multiple furry artists who have made this.
Oh, of course.
Oh my god.
My thought was Digimon.
Yeah, Terriermon comes to mind.
I don't have anything that comes to mind, really.
The
Conversation.
last one for the tangent, but let's go off of Gundramon, the Digimon who's literally 47 guns. Like, that's its entire design. What if we took a dragon and made it guns?
Yeah, there's also Gargamon, which is literally a furry with Gatling gun hands. Which evolves out of Terriermon.
This just sounds like a bunch of elementary schoolers came up with this shit.
Yeah.
So Cassandra's gonna pull open her laptop and sit down. Just start typing away. While the girls wake up, come in and get breakfast. So what do the two of you have?
I don't have class for a couple of days, so I'm technically free right now. Looks over at Dawn, who's like halfway into a bit of egg. I think Julia was the one that froze this time.
Yep.
Wasn't me for once. Watch, Julia comes back and then I'll freeze.
Yeah. It has
I don't
to
know,
happen
she could be just playing
Like
the
a-
long con game.
extremely
To
still.
prank
There
us.
it goes. Just sitting extremely still.
That would be like masterful,
Yeah.
honestly, if you could sit still that long.
And like without even like visible breathing motion or anything like that.
Right?
With
But I'm the problem this time. Goes over the Slack channel. It's been
Anyway.
a long time. I have missed this.
yes.
There
Oh
she
my
is.
God. So much.
Welcome back.
It's my turn to be the problem.
Yep.
What was the
So
last
where did
thing
I
you
get
got?
cut off?
I was like, yeah, the last thing that we heard was, "What do you guys have?"
What do you girls have planned for the day?
I don't have school classes for another couple of days, so I'm mostly just free. And she looks over at Dawn, who is like halfway through eating a bite of egg, and is like, "Me either."
She would just flash a smile at Tyr. I don't think there's. I should probably see what the other idiots want to do. I love
It's
all of
about-
my motley dearly. Just want to say that.
And it's about at that point that your
But we
phone
are
starts to
idiots.
ring.
I said the magic word. Hello.
Hey there, it's James.
I reckon from the caller ID.
Right. Well, anyway, puts you on speaker. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Uh,
Hi, everyone. It's Joe.
It's on speaker, Joe. It's not on FaceTime. Waving
don't-
is pointless.
it makes me happy. Shut up.
What's FaceTime again?
Video.
Calling.
Oh,
I'm gonna guess that's normal angry and not hungover angry. So good job. You drank enough water. What's
This
what's
is
up?
not my
What did I-
first. This is not my first drinking binge. I know what I'm doing.
I made sure she got enough water.
Not your first this week.
Bitch, do you want to start now?
So what is going on?
Well, we were just getting ready and talking about our plans. And thought we should include you in the discussion.
I am honored.
Lily looks up from breakfast and was like, "Should we be outside for this?"
If you two want to take, actually, I'll go, and she will step out onto the back porch.
Mm.
What exactly are our plans today? I know you all were talking about getting around to making them. So, what potentials do we have on the docket?
We were talking about Joe wants to kick up the non-person murdering plans.
I don't know if I don't think the same sort of setup is going to work for those three.
That's
Oh no.
That's exactly what we were talking about.
We were thinking quietly disappearing them and then making it look like they went on a humanitarian mission to
The Amazon rainforest.
actually I like that
Lit-
one.
Literally anywhere out of the way, but yeah, the rainforest is an option.
They decided to go on a charity climb of Mount Everest. I don't know.
No, that'll generate too much publicity.
No, see, the rainforest, they have people down there that aren't even connected to anything. So,
Well, the idea is at that point we get a plane in the air and then we down the plane over the ocean and then it doesn't matter. But-
you didn't tell me
Because-
that part.
I mean, listen, if a plane goes down, particularly over the ocean, that's not definitive proof of death,
That's true.
but it is assumed death. So if they do pop up at some point, oh look,
When the hell
they
did
found to an island.
what did I say? Where was this idea 5 minutes ago?
I've been workshopping, bitch. This stuff doesn't come up right off the bat.
I was gonna say I'm impressed, and then you started calling me names. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that was an insult? Because again, let me repeat what was said last night. If we want to go to insults, I can go to insults.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys, have you seen this? This is rad. There's like a bunch of planets orbiting the sun. As Frank walked back in the room.
What did somebody give Frank the internet? Is that what happened?
Yes.
All right.
Not the internet, I know. I mean, but
Also, I just want to tell you, it is very hard with the two of you ladies bickering not to immediately shout Maeve and Lily at you. This is a fight I have had repeatedly over my life. Anyway,
Listen, I'm just saying, you have to be able to pick up on context clues, but bitch can be an insult or it can be a term of endearment. That was a term of endearment.
or it can
Okay.
be a female dog.
Okay. Somebody take Google away from Frank. Jesus Christ.
Congratulations, Frank. I guess you are not as dumb as you look. How could you be?
Couldn't start a fire with those two brain cells. Anyway.
Anyway, so we were talking about that. We were talking about potentially finding Frizian's great nephew. I mentioned Frizian, so Frizian had to go away. Frizian's great nephew, and finding out whether he's a wizard or whether he just likes pretty symbols.
He's
I
our
know
connection.
I know how luck goes, and he's a wizard.
Listen, you're not wrong.
I was gonna say, do I need to invite the 10-foot tall monster made out of teeth and claws that I call a sister, or?
I don't know how to answer that.
I mean, sure.
Oh no, I was simply meaning as evidence towards my point, not in general.
Gotcha.
No, Lily
mean-
doesn't have to be involved in any of this.
I mean, like,
Doesn't have to be.
I just feel like we're checking them off at this point. Like, It's a werewolf. It's a wizard. It's fucking vampire for all I know. It's a sea serpent. It's a Mothman. It's a cryptid. It's a I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Joe,
Sasquatch.
I feel like a sea serpent wouldn't be very likely to go jogging.
Hey, listen, that's a generalization, okay? Why you gotta tie a sea serpent down? Maybe it loves to go jogging.
So anyway,
Anyway, this is what I have to deal with while you're off having family time.
This is family time.
Other family time.
Option A is I kick my sister and her partner out of the house, which, I mean, they'll just go back to their dorm. Or I will bring the two of them along. I will ask. I'm fairly certain Dawn might like a little bit of just normal life for a minute, but
then she should be.
I will ask her what that's like.
Fair enough. Just let me know if they're gonna be coming by.
And I assume we're all are we meeting at the mansion and moving somewhere else? Or
I would assume so.
I mean, it's our best locale right now until
Indeed.
we get a hold of our resources.
I'll make sure to keep all the wolfsbane in the backyard. Put out the good Alpo.
I'll tell you said that.
Please don't.
All right. I'll let you know in the next 5-10 minutes.
Cool.
Click. And she will head back inside. Have they become any more lively in the 10-15 minutes I've been outside?
They are looking like they are actually waking up, yes. How'd the phone conversation go?
Well, Joe wants to move up the time frame on taking care of the Abba family fetches, so we
I know nothing of what any of that term meant.
Right. Sorry. One of my found family has decided that they want to get rid of the things that were left in their place when they were taken.
Yeah, that smells like Weaver taint. I could probably be convinced to assist.
I know both of those words individually. You want to...
Right.
Werewolf raid on the Arbor House.
Well,
one way to do it.
How to even explain? I mean, it's my job as a storyteller to explain things, but basically, it is our job as werewolves to protect the world from the bad things that want to destroy it. And there are two primary sources of bad things, the Weaver and the Worm. The Weaver's less bad and more just contrived and problematic and all of the worst things about mankind's advancement kind of thing.
All right.
The Worm is raw destruction and corruption. That one's more important.
Fair enough.
I don't know enough to really claim an idea of where fairy stuff falls on that category, but based on what I know of them in mythology, I would probably lean more on the side of the Weaver. They seem like complicated plots and contrivances and weird levels of. But they might be worm too, because they're pretty chaotic. I don't know. I would have to smell one up close.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it probably depends on the thing that created them.
Yeah. Probably.
All right. So there's two options, well, three options really. You girls can go on your way, do whatever you want to for the rest of the day, and enjoy your life. Enjoy your Saturday, I should say, or you can come along with me to meet the Motley. Or we can go and as a family ignore anything else and just go have fun. She would just point at Bologna. I know option 3 is not on the table. Just, you gotta humor me.
I mean, we do normal most days of the week, so I'm up for something interesting. Looks over at Dawn, who is still scarfing down the last of her eggs. Man, I don't know.
Cassandra just looks over at Bologna, gets a really big smile on her face. Lily's gonna love meeting Frank. And Lisa. Well, I mean, that depends. I mean, whichever one of them is they at the time. Although I guess technically they're both always. That's the thing that I don't want to try and wrap my head around. Nope. I'm gonna go get dressed. You two decide what you want to do, and I will be back down in about 5 minutes.
All right. So let them stand up and go to get ready in the morning after having finished their breakfast. Meanwhile, the rest of you,
Yep.
Yep.
I am assuming Cassandra sends a text back to either Jackson or to James saying, yeah, they're coming along.
She'll send it to Jackson.
Thumbs up.
So while they're getting ready,
Yep.
what are the group of you doing?
Getting ready.
Yeah. Pretty much the same stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Learning how the solar system works.
Joe's gonna get ready and then just be like pacing around like the lower floor, just in a very distinct pattern, but supposedly aimlessly. But she's definitely like wearing a path.
So your Google trip did take you down actually learning about the solar system.
Oh yeah, no, it's really, really, really hard unless you try super deliberately to get to find out that the Earth is anything other than a slightly off, slightly imperfect sphere.
It is a bumpy sphere.
It is slightly ellipsoidal. You have to try to deceive yourself when it comes to things that are so obviously objectively factual as that.
Yeah, the group of you take some time and get ready. as all of you are preparing for the day, we will go ahead and take our break, and we will come back as the group convenes to prepare our next steps. Everyone, when you take our break, you take your break. So sit up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Please sit around for these commercial messages.
We are back.
Yeah, welcome back. So, the group of you convene.
Yep.
Presumably at Jackson's place.
Correct.
Which means that Cassandra, her spouse, and her sibling's girlfriend all arrive together.
Yep. Get buzzed in.
Don, you can be a little less overwhelmed than Lily might be, but they are interesting, is all I can say.
All right. Well, now you're just hyped it up. I'm curious.
She will lead the two of them into the house.
Mm-hmm. Come and greet.
She will introduce. Actually, she'll just. We'll wait to do introductions till everybody's. So we're all gathered.
So y'all like are coming into the living room or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Lily and her partner Dawn. Dawn, this is Frisian, Jackson, or Marlena, depending on the day. Frank, she will say, yes, Frank,
Yes,
and
Frank.
Joe and James, Joe's husband.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Delighted.
Lily sort of stands and waves. I'm Lily. This is Dawn.
Pleasure to meet you. Welcome.
It is a dramatic comparison between the two of them because Lily has this sort of like sporty kind of like woodsy vibe to her, the kind of person who looks like she goes hiking regularly, has like that bright orange hair that's pulled back into a ponytail, the hiking jacket and jeans and boots. And sitting next to her is the darkest, palest example of goth that you could probably find in a 10-mile radius. Her hair is completely raven black. She is extremely pale, wearing basically all black clothing with a bit of lace and frill by comparison. And Lily just speaks up. So, yeah, so I understand that there are things that need to get taken care of that are not necessarily things that belong here.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, about that.
I'm happy to help out.
Can I get you anything while you before we get into the gritty talk?
I'll take a Coke if you have one.
Absolutely.
Dawn just looks over. Water.
Just water? Okay.
Well, Joe's gonna attempt to make small talk while Marlena's getting drinks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, how did y'all two meet?
Lily sort of looks over at Dawn. I sort of fell into Dawn's circle shortly after achieving, like late in my teen years. And we met late high school, early college age, and just sort of hit it off and continued going from there.
Oh, that's really sweet.
So when you say circle, you mean like the werewolf community, right?
Oh my god.
Lily chuckled.
Please.
Like, all right.
Frank
Please-
is so
please.
for a reason.
Please forgive Frank. He is the human equivalent of a participation trophy.
I mean, he's not wrong, though. It was the fact that I was brought into the society of my kind, and she was already part of it.
Said felon, I thought you meant literally.
Not quite literally, but almost.
You'll have to forgive Frisian. He's a little displaced out of time.
I get the sense that a lot of you are a little displaced.
Not as much as you would think.
Some more than others, to be sure.
I feel like that was a very directed sum.
No, that was a general sum
that's a
because some of
very-
us are
That-
more displaced than others.
as
Some of
in-
us were only displaced for a moment, but are somehow the most enfeebled. Anyway, here you go, here you go. I sit down with a drink.
Now we are going after creatures known as fetches. Fetches are made out of twigs and sticks or string, bits and bobs, maybe some mud, an eyeball here or there, held together by weird fey magic and are left here in our place when we're taken.
Yeah, that sounds like a creation of the Weaver if I were to take a guess, although I would need to actually get close enough to smell one to really identify where that kind of energy comes from.
I'm sorry, the what?
Think of it like a giant spider god that ties everything together in a web of madness and mistrust.
Not hard to imagine.
Cassandra gets into her bag and just starts writing something in a journal.
All I can imagine is like 7 months' time, a guru's reading a book. It's like, why is this specifically accurate?
I need to hunt down this author.
If there's a time I can tell you the creation myth, it's a very old one. It's a story that I've learned to tell a lot. Most people just sort of take it as some, ancient myth of the creation of the world. Most people don't realize how accurate it is.
Well, Miss had to start somewhere.
Yep. Suffice to say, the Weaver and the Worm are the two enemies that werewolves face most often.
Fair enough.
So
Also,
how
good news that pops up in adolescence, and my kids have a chance. You know how hard it's going to be to tell a teenager who can turn into a 10-foot tall killing machine no? Sorry, I'm getting
Sure,
ahead of
you will
myself
figure
on
out a way.
problems.
10-foot tall killing machine sounds like it'd be fun to fight.
Joe is just getting that far off look in her eyes again, just going,
I am sure you will figure out a way, Lily says to Cassandra.
Well, if not, they can go spend a weekend with Aunt Lily.
Yeah, I'm always there to straighten them out if you need me.
So
I'm glad that all my children have come out at the have come out into the world at the age of anywhere from 19 to 30 something.
so that was pretty easy for you, wasn't it?
I didn't know kids work like that.
I'm not explaining that point of that. I'm not going to try and get into that explanation for someone who is still figuring out that there are more than one planet in the universe.
I know, it's wild, right? So many cool things to learn about.
Listen, I missed a lot of the formative years after my kids were only about 2 when I was taken, so.
Fair enough. Anyway.
Sorry, my brain went off on a tangent about children, and now I need to focus on the problem at hand.
I don't know why.
I'm
heard the
curious
Roblox
where your
goof sound
tan-
in the background somewhere.
What?
So
Shawnee,
you heard the Roblox sound in the background?
I heard the Roblox oof noise in the back. No, not the Roblox oof. It was the Minecraft oof. It was the oof. The Minecraft oof noise in the background somewhere. I was like, I feel like I just heard that, and my brain is telling me it's somewhere nearby.
Fantastic. I will spare you the moment of asking you to explain more in depth about the tangent you went on regarding children, and let's focus on the task at hand.
yeah, well, that's not a tangent that we need to go on right now.
No, but it'd be really funny. That's okay.
I'm sure it would
all
be,
business.
but let's take care of this problem before future.
Before you and James make another one. Anyway.
I haven't even made one. Or another problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get
Sorry. Sorry. Fuck.
You're a little slow, but you're catching up to us.
Anyway.
Yeah, what's the plan of attack, or have we even gotten that far yet?
We have not gotten that far. We have been contemplating the ins and outs of how to make this look the least suspicious, since we cannot use the same trajectory that we used with Marlena, since she was just able to step into get rid of her fetch and step into her fetch's shoes.
Correct.
As it stands, we don't have anybody we have somebody to step into. James can take over his fetches where his fetch left off. But as far as his parents, that's a loose end that we're trying to not make look incredibly suspicious so people come sniffing around.
My thought was some kind of very quiet, shall we say, elimination process. And then we send a plane over the Atlantic and sink it. Or down it. You sink a boat, you down a plane. Or we send a boat and we sink it. That's also possible.
Well, the problem with a boat or a plane and sending it down is there's gonna be innocence on that.
There's gonna be what?
Not if it's a private. Not if it's a private one.
The pilot's
There's gonna be a pilot.
They can jump, can't they?
Yes, but then there's witnesses, and we don't want that.
Also, if we're sending a plane down, now here's the question: do we have to actually even send a plane? We got plenty of people who can fake news stories, can't we?
We would.
No, I think we killed her.
Have to action. That is also true. We would have to actually send a plane because, unfortunately, a ship we could potentially make that up, but a plane, every plane in the sky is tracked.
That's true.
You can't just say a plane went down because if it becomes a story and people ask questions, then there will be no record of the plane ever having taken off.
Is there a way we can?
They don't track ships the same way.
Is there a way we can remote control it?
I don't know.
I don't know if unmanned passenger aircraft has been available for commercial use yet.
Also, it would be cheaper to sink a ship.
I was gonna
than
say
on a
I don't
plane.
have a plane. Do you have a plane?
I was gonna say
I don't think I have a plane.
I
I
was
may
gonna
have
say-
a plane, but I don't think I have a plane.
I was gonna say flesh-eating piranhas in the Amazon, but I mean, go ahead. Because then you just had to find some bones.
There is also still the Amazon possibility.
Cassandra's just going to vaguely wave at Lily. Like, we have disposal unit.
But wait, okay, you're gonna have to. I realize you're referring to your sister. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific.
Are you going to
Uh,
eat the corpses? Like, what are we talking about here?
There's not going to be a
There is-
A
corpse.
corpse.
Yeah, I understand. Are you going to eat the refuse? I know it's not a corpse, but there's still something there.
Mm. Just side eye over at Lily.
Do you want to eat a bunch of trash? Literal trash.
I am not a bone gnawer, and I don't even think they do that often.
A bone.
I don't know what that means.
That sounds like an insult, and
I
It really
don't-
shouldn't be, but it
I don't
kind of
think
is.
it was. I don't think it was meant as one.
It really, like, I don't mean it as one, and it really shouldn't be, but to some people it kind of is, and I don't.
What is a bonar?
Another,
I don't know. It sounds like
Is it an incredibly self-descriptive title?
All right.
No,
can-
not really.
Oh.
It's a family. It's a lineage of werewolves.
Oh, I was going to say it sounds like the sort of the equivalent of like a someone who eats paint or something like that. So
can-
I mean, there are some surprisingly good tasting paints out there.
that
Gonna ignore that one.
explains so much.
too hard to not make reference.
Do it.
Frank, could you at least not make it so easy for me? It's like shooting brainless fish in a barrel.
That's why it's funny.
God.
I just feel like I've flipped to the back of the math book and suddenly have all the answers.
Yeah, the problem with that is you have the answers. You have no way to get to them. You have to know the equation and how to break it down to get to the answers.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much to break down. Just pointing at Frank wherever he is.
No, the bone gnawers get a bad rap, but I've yet to meet one that was a bad guy.
Okay.
Fair enough. Anyways,
Hey, by the
back on target. So we just need to figure out how to do the murdering.
Murder is easy.
Cleanup is hard. Lily says, trying to finish the line.
The cleanup is the easy part, especially in this case. You get a good shop vac and you're covered.
I don't think it was the literal cleanup that was being referred to.
We're already talking about that part. We're talking about booking flights to Brazil and or sending out a ship and sinking it. Honestly, the Amazon thing is actually probably better.
I mean, I might know some people who can help with that, but I have a feeling based on our interactions. She says, looking over at Lily says, looking over at Tyr. Yeah, I might have better contacts for that. Tyr says.
Who says that?
Tyr.
Okay, before I ask the question, do I want to know?
Cassandra's spouse.
I know.
Oh yeah.
You know who Tyr is.
It's been a month.
I may be far gone, but I'm not that far gone. As Joe was saying, since Tyr apparently knows people who can get rid of bodies in the Amazon, do I want to ask the question and do I want to know the answer?
I mean, you get rid of the bodies and then you just say they went to the Amazon. You don't actually have to dump them in the Amazon.
Oh man.
I don't think you want to know the people that I would be contacting to make that look real.
Listen, I know you want to go to the Amazon.
I don't want to go to the Amazon, actually. Have you seen the size of the bugs in the fucking Amazon? No, thank you.
Yeah, they're not nice.
Big bugs aren't that big of a problem. Unless it's
Yeah.
Australia. I remember hearing stories from the Australians.
Except the Australia is not okay. You know what? I don't need to turn down that road either. Okay. So let me see if I've got some sense of what's going on. So how are we getting to the fetch? So my first question, how are we getting to the fetches in the first place?
That is the part that we have not yet figured out.
Okay, so we figured out how to get rid of the bodies and how to make the disappearance happen, but we haven't actually figured out how to make the, for lack of a better term, first contact happen.
Correct. We put the alibi before the horse.
I mean, work backwards, it works sometimes.
How to, I mean, we're going to have to.
They're going to have to be drawn out.
They don't necessarily have to be.
I mean, from our understanding, they've all become kind of reclusive, James says.
Yeah, I mean, so we wouldn't even, if they're not making any public appearances, they're not having any kind of publicity.
Like, they're still donating to charity.
I need to find out. Yes.
Putting their names out, but they're not really doing it in person so much anymore, as far as I can tell.
I need to find out where I can not even run into them, because that's not what we'd be doing, but where I can have an excuse to come over and talk business with them, which is not necessarily that difficult given my recent public change in direction.
I mean, I think it would just be a matter of getting a hold of their financial records and connecting a through a particular charitable donation.
You know what? I'll be right back.
If they're recluses, why don't we just come out of the woods around the house and just destroy them?
Because we don't know what the security's like on the inside of the house. I say as I'm walking off.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm checking something. I am going to go into my office and check. I don't know what fake me used, whether it's Rolodex, whether it's on the computer or what. But I'm going to start going through contact lists and see if I have a phone number for them. Because I realize they are not. Well, Fetch Me and Fetch Them were not necessarily friendly, at least according to Fetch Me. But that doesn't mean they are both. They were both people of power and wealth and politics in a southern town together. Yeah. I have to believe they had contact information.
Oh yeah.
and probably saw each other at least somewhat.
They would have run in,
Yeah.
concentric.
So you look into the office and there's a small file cabinet basically,
Okay.
various bits of information. As you sort of dig through it for a minute, you do find Arbor in the list of folders of information on people. What you do find in that folder is
I just snag the whole folder and I'm walking out with it
yeah.
as I reading as I'm coming back.
Yeah, as you look through the folder, you see that your fetch didn't have like direct personal phone contact information for any of them because they don't like each other. They don't want each other calling them on their cell phones. They do have contact information for their estate and a number of their agents and people that can get into contact with them.
Yeah, I walk back in.
And public arrangements need to be made.
Right. I'm curious then. Is the file, I don't know how my dude operated. Is there like dirt on them and shit like that?
In that file cabinet, there is dirt of a kind, by which I mean dirt that would only really be dirt to someone of your fetch's proclivities. Because a lot of the dirt that exists in that file are charitable donations and records of support of LGBTQ positive,
like opposition research and shit like that.
Thing, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I walk in and I just set the folder down on the table. We have ways to get in contact indirectly. So that gives us a place to start.
And before we pick up a phone, though, we need to have a plan.
Is my thought. I'm obviously this is your show. So I'm just throwing out ideas.
Go for it, because I'm going in 500 different directions. Please give me some direction.
As I said before, as we all know, I recently very publicly changed my political leanings.
Right.
As part of image repair, I might very well have to. Well, I do have to, but do some very visible work, partnering with some of the kinds of organizations that your in-laws were supporters of. So I go to I asked to set up a meeting with them to where we can take steps toward that. I phrase it in a way of, look, I've seen my ways, blah 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 blah, all the nonsense I'm gonna have to say because of fake me was a monster. And sound desperate enough that they might be open to some kind of meeting. That gets us the opening contact.
Knowing how they are, or knowing how they seem to be now, I don't think they would want to make it very public.
No. So perhaps we hold it at their place. Since that way they know they are secure, their security will be the people in charge of any kind of those concerns, etc.
Okay, well,
Works out well for us because then we can.
If I may,
Yes.
I may also suggest it might be a good idea for me to stick out of most of this, James says. Because your fetch had a general idea of your situation, and that was someone who was
Absolutely.
trying very hard not to be anything like you. As far as
Oh,
I
yes.
can tell, my fetch is kind of like me, just more reclusive, and might have a better connection to what's in my head.
Yes. No, we do not want to have you come along to the meeting that you might be at. Conceivably. That would be awkward and confusing before the violence happened. We're not ready for the violence to happen yet.
And also, me coming along might tip them off somehow.
Well, yes, exactly.
Like, even before we show up.
so I'm guessing I couldn't be there either.
Well, your fetch isn't around anymore, so there's not a connection.
Well, yeah, but if I suddenly come back from the dead, they're gonna have some
Yeah,
problems.
that one would be a concern, yes. At least for an initial meeting, unless we're planning to kill it immediately.
I don't think we can. I mean,
It would be nice, but
that's what I've always, I mean, I know that's what I've always talked about, but the more I think about it, the more I don't think that's even.
it depends on the home. It depends on the home and the security and a lot of things. Because maybe they are not maybe they do not lean heavily on security. Maybe they don't worry about that kind of thing. I don't know. But that's not something that we can just assume.
Right.
So no, I don't think in the first meeting we should go in planning on any dismemberment. It's usually a downer for negotiations. Even if they're fake negotiations.
Joe is just gonna.
But
she's gonna tense up, and then she's just gonna sit there and breathe and center herself.
If we do manage to get in to that place, that's my hope. But we'll have to see. That might have to take a couple short amount of time to finagle. Then maybe we can plant listening devices, anything that will give us the inside intel that we need to perform a targeted assassination. The other possibility, there is one other thing that we could always just do. Put out through many appropriate layers of protection a hit on your in-laws. And when they die, quietly go in and murder James's fetch and take over.
I'm not crazy about that option.
What happens with the hitman when the bodies turn to sludge?
Well, hopefully the hitman's not exactly going to go to the police
I think we're overlooking a resource here. We could talk to Summercourt. Or hell, we can talk to Winter and they can knock him off hidden.
Wait a sec. Wait. Okay.
I mean, Tia, what do you typically do when you gotta knock off somebody who's impersonating a, real person?
Well, fetches are a rarity as far as my job is concerned, but vampires, occasional ghouls. There's a variety of people who might have high social standing and also be a supernatural creature that needs to be dealt with. Usually, there's a lot of groundwork to either discredit them before you take them out, or make the taking them out look as much like a random chance accident as possible. And a whole lot of working behind the scenes to make sure that investigations never find out that it was anything more.
I heard a whole lot of words, and all I'm hearing the entire time is too many cooks.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, so my real question then is, can you guys provide any of that behind the scenes work for us?
Okay. You know what,
Element to be removed, so theoretically, but again, you guys probably want to pick an approach.
Well,
guys?
yeah, but I'm saying once we pick an approach, if you can help with the afterwards, just keeping things quiet from an investigative standpoint.
Guys,
Yes, Joe.
I think we're making this way too complicated. I
I
don't think
mean-
we. Okay. I don't think we need to involve Summer Court or Winter Court. I don't think we need to involve Tyr's influences. No offense, Tyr.
That's
I
fair.
think we can get this done because I need as few loose ends as possible. And I'm just coming to terms with the fact that I may not be able to do this by my own hands. I know all y'all, the joke has been like, oh, Joe's just waiting to shoot somebody or stab somebody, but I don't. I know it's going to be a nightmare either way, but I think I can, live with the nightmare a little bit better if
Your time.
if what?
I said, take your time.
Yes.
I think I can live with. I know it's going to be because I've done it in this whole crazy business. Whether or not the thing is a monster, it's going to take a toll. And this is going to take a hell of a lot more toll than the whatever the fuck that was in the IHOP parking lot. I can't remember. Hobgoblin, thank you. Even though it's not a real creature, it's representing something very real and very personal. And whether I metaphorically pull the trigger or not, I know that's something I'm going to have to live with, but I'm saying I think I could live with it a little bit better if I knew that I took care of it with my
Personally.
own two hands.
Okay.
I'm not trying to I'm trying to find the cleanest and most ironically peaceful resolution in a situation that's very fucked up. And I
Okay.
realized that.
I think that you and Bologna need to have a sit-down talk. She has first-hand experience of doing what you're about to go into. Jackson can also talk you through it. But it might be a little different since Jackson had to look himself in the face.
Personally, it didn't bother me in the slightest, but I understand why it does. And all bullshit aside, I admire that it does. That you believe it will weigh on.
You have a deeper hold on your humanity than some of us do. Don't let that die out.
So you want to handle this personally, and you want to handle it as simply as possible. So our over complicated ways of trying to finagle all of this bullshit is probably unnecessary, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying, I realize we have a lot of resources, and I appreciate everybody pulling together to want to have a hand in this. But at the end of it all, I don't think overcomplicating things is the answer.
Absolutely. Also, I was waiting to bring it up, but well, we have how to say it. I don't think that we need to stop putting ourselves in deep debt with one of the courts.
No,
There's something that we can handle on our own.
right.
Frankly speaking, one of you's got debt built up from the court to you. James says, looking at Cassandra.
Oh, I know. And I will cash in that chit when I get my first chance.
But you don't need to use it here.
You're my... And she pauses and looks at Lily and looks back at Joe. You're my sister. There's no... If I'm going to use it, I might as well use it to help someone.
And
You're stuck now, Lily says, putting an arm around your shoulder.
What's that?
Yeah, you're stuck now, Lily says, putting an arm around your shoulder.
But that still involves as getting other people involved and overcomplicating it, which,
I'm not
yet or not, that's not necessarily something.
So Joe's just gonna have just a moment of like, oh my gosh, I have sisters. I've never had sisters. and then saying to Cassandra, and because I am your sister, I'm going to tell you that you need to save it for something that's needed. We can take care of this on our own. But there's going to come a time when we can't take care of whatever it is. And that's the time we need to cash in that chip. I'm not half as dumb as I look.
I think Julia might have also fallen down again.
Yep.
Once again, the
You know,
image is way too still.
I'm not. There we go. There it is.
we go.
I'm not one to normally keep repeat my reads too much, but again, how could you be?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there we go. Kind of
Maybe.
There we go.
There it
There
is.
we go.
The night is the night
Uh,
for the internet.
Oh.
Yep. So going simpler. Honestly, I think we just need to get you inside that house somehow.
How simple are we talking? Lily asks, because like it doesn't get a whole lot simpler than werewolf walks in front door.
Simple
is
and
going-
quiet.
Oh. I mean, what I can do is quiet, but it's definitely attention seeking.
Like,
She's just gonna take a few steps out and then just she's gonna take off the jacket she's been wearing, show off her short sleeves, and then just turn into a living kaleidoscope, just bright, shining.
Yeah, you see, I have a tendency to disappear.
That's the funny thing about light; it creates shadows.
yeah. Is it possible that you could lean on? I know we're not leaning on people very much, but in terms of surveillance, is it possible you could get us some sort of notion of what kind of
Who are you talking
security tip?
That's absolutely in my wheelhouse. Well, my group's wheelhouse, mine
Yes.
specifically, not the people I work with, but the people that
Your faction.
the people that recruited me. Yeah.
Right. Because if we can just figure out what the inside of the I mean, is
we can
it the
get-
same house even from when?
if we can get an address, if we can get floor plan and security.
I shuffle through papers. I'm assuming the address is in
Oh yeah.
that folder. Is that where they used to live?
For your recollection, no. It's a different house, but not that far away. It's just sort of like a slightly further away from civilization kind of thing. Like they moved out of a house that was in the middle of the city to a house that was on the outside of the city.
Okay.
So that address is not updated.
Well, the address that
That I have
That you have is updated, but
is
not,
updated.
but
It's not the
house
same place
we
that they used to
remember.
live at.
Okay, got it,
Correct.
got it.
Yeah, it's not the house that you lived in prior to all this shit,
I never lived there.
or that James lived in prior to all of that.
All right. Well, it's so that I was. If it had been the same house, that would have made things a little easier because you would have known the layout. But since it's not, yeah, if you can have your people do some surveillance of the house, get a notion of what we're dealing with in terms of security alarms, that sort of thing. There's always a possibility that we could just sneak in the dead night and Amityville horror this shit.
I've got a network. I can probably get some information on that.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. The Farrell family all died in their beds. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that one. Okay, sorry. I was getting my horror stories mixed up.
I think I see
I'm
what
saying-
you did there was I think I see what you did there was aimed at Bologna.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying we need to be using shotguns, but Those tend to harm the furniture.
Yeah, it's not. And I mean, they probably have some like pretty decent furniture. So I mean, that would be a shame.
Especially when you can just 2 pieces of wood and razor wire.
Or power tools. Those make noise, though.
Yeah.
Say I have garrots if you need them.
Excuse me.
I have garrots if you need them. It's kind of part of the job.
Okay, you're gonna like deep in the recesses of my brain. This is Katie talking. Deep in the recesses of my brain, I know.
Choking wires that you
Wire.
use to choke
Good.
it.
Oh,
to
that.
choke
Okay. I'm like,
or decapitate.
okay. I'm like, I know that word, and then it's coming up like error file not found.
Yeah. Garrote wire. Bits of like thin wire between 2 handholds that you choke someone, or potentially, if it's sharp enough, take their head off with.
That could be fun. What the hell did I just say? Oh my god. No, I don't want to go down that road. God, no. That's not me.
You don't want to go down that road, but you do want them dead. Maybe you want someone else doing the deed at that point.
No. No,
It's a very difficult road to walk between actively wanting to kill something and not wanting to stain your conscience with it, even if it isn't a real thing.
it's
I
not.
say it's not alive.
It's not so much. It's not so much the stain of conscience as it is. All of a sudden, I'm getting excited about ways to kill people. That just I can't.
Fair enough.
That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the way I'm thinking about this.
No, keep it simple. Don't worry about all that. And just imagine it. There are weeds in the garden.
Pest control.
You need to deal with the weeds.
I'm going.
It is as real and living. It is as much a person as those weeds.
It's a terrifying approach if you apply it to anything that isn't a fetch. That's a terrifying approach if you apply it to anything that isn't a fetch.
It's a good thing we're not applying it to things that are not fetches. I'm not saying everything is weeds.
I.
But when all you got is a weed whacker.
Like when you have a hammer and everything looks like a nail.
Yeah.
I have plenty of things that are not weed whackers. I have ortho. I have hose. I have spades.
You got a lot of hose, don't you?
You know, Joe, sharp tongue is not necessarily an indicator of a keen mind.
Yeah.
Cassandra will just look over at Lily. Yes, every time. It's always like this.
Lily just chuckles. Oh, this is great.
Oh, you should see us after a few drinks.
Oh, no, Joe does not understand where this is about to go because I don't know if Joe remembers. And yes, Jackson is 100% talking about Joe as if she is not in the room right now. I don't know if Joe remembers, but last night, Joe implied that I was taking it too easy on her, and that perhaps I am not giving her the best that I've got. And I promised that I would stop doing so. And I don't think Joe understands what's coming for her in the coming minutes, hours, days, and weeks, and months, and years.
Oh, Joe
Strange.
understands. Joe is also very amused.
It's a strange thing for someone to dare a drag queen to read them.
Right? Like, honey, if you did just jump out of the plane, it'll be so much quicker and easier.
That's fun, actually.
How would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
I did.
This time you're forgetting the chute, honey.
Well,
I was held back. Sorry, go ahead.
I say, so I love how it started off sass, and then Jeremy's like, "Oh no, go ahead." It's like, I'm about to read you. Oh, wait, sorry.
Yep, absolutely. But no, go ahead. You were talking.
The switch was like amazing. And now I forgot what I was gonna say. What Joe was gonna say was, I understand, maybe somewhat foolishly, what I said and what I did. And I understand the consequences of said actions. However, it is also helping me to get out of my own head.
Fair enough. I am more than happy to help you get out of your head.
By getting into it in her place?
No, it would be easy to get lost because it is such a cavernous place.
Yeah, lots of deep thoughts.
If your mind were thoughts, then if your mind was I'm clearly tired because I have no idea where that was going to go.
That's fine. Take your time. I'm just gonna sit here and not think about how I have to kill something that looks like my husband while staring at it in the face.
Again, if you need to talk, I have experience, Tyr says.
Yeah, that's gonna need to happen. Yeah, we need to talk. We need to talk.
All right, DB Cooper, where are we going next first? Nobody? Okay. All right.
No, I understand the reference. I just don't know who you're referring to.
I don't know who you're calling DB Cooper.
Joe, you were just talking about jumping out of planes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
You jumped back a few sentences. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea who DB Cooper is.
That's okay. Nobody does.
The criminal. That's actually really fair.
Apparently, it was Loki, as far as anyone's concerned.
Yeah. Which is fine by me, Mystery Sour. But I almost said something really stupid. Don't say it. I don't know which direction Jeremy is on the layout.
It is. Listen, Joe, it is fine.
Wouldn't be the first
Stupidity
time.
is not a crime. You're free to go.
It also wouldn't have been the first time, so why stop? Why stop now?
Fuck.
All right,
Easy,
you're
coming in with the
you're getting
one-liners.
sassed by the geriatric one now.
I thought I already was.
Oh, honey.
Cassandra's just gonna reach over,
Listen,
grab a glass, grab the whiskey.
I may be old,
hmm
but at least
You didn't need to buy it.
don't you stop.
Right.
I have held back from the number of references I could be tossing your way.
Are they references that I would even get? The joke's not funny. You have to explain it.
Oh, I would figure out a way.
Oh, they've got a point.
Listen, I may be old,
Turning into a free for all.
but at least I've got a personality, as opposed to yours, which I would describe as a vibrant shade of beige.
Hmm.
Are you talking about Frisian or Joe?
Joe,
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you were a spice, you'd be flour.
You know,
I'm still
flour
waiting.
is what adds all the substance to food when you're talking about it. Like, you can put all the spices you want in a bowl of water, it's not going to bake up into anything unless there's flour.
Not really. You can use rice.
You know, Frank, it's a good. It's
and
very
rice.
heartening to see that you don't let your education get in the way of your ignorance.
Oh, I have a phone. And Frisian, now ignoring the conversation, is trying to Google like East Asian restaurants in Knoxville.
Just love the out of pocket. I have a
I
phone.
have a phone.
Yeah, the excited tone of voice.
I love everything
I have a
about
phone.
that.
That was incredible.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's like the best fucking non sequitur.
Oh,
This Frisian goes to just look for like East Asian restaurants. Oh. You'll very quickly find Frisian that there's a variety in Knoxville. There's Korean, Chinese, at least one Japanese place, a variety of fusions. There's a lot that you can find. There's a Mongolian barbecue.
Frisian spends a couple of minutes looking, and then anyone who pays attention looks at Frisian as he just deflates, realizing one, he doesn't have money, two, he doesn't have a way to get to a restaurant.
you have both of those in the room with you.
Right?
If you want takeout, we can order takeout. They'll even bring it to us.
Well,
I mean, first thing you know that. I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah,
I'm assuming you
they-
want to go out somewhere.
do what?
Do you
Am
want
I-
to go?
Am I incorrect in assuming that you just want to go out somewhere,
Do you want to go eat in a
or are
restaurant?
you just hungry?
I think I'm just hungry. No, like Frisian deflates because he doesn't know how to use like Uber Eats.
Okay, hand it over.
Eh,
Hand it. No.
Hands over the phone.
Hand it over. Okay, I can start a group order. For those of us that know how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just let's make it a thing.
Cassandra will just put her card on the table and slide it over in front of Joe.
It's not my phone though, because Joe was about to, like, I'm going to take a picture of it. No, that is fraud and that is wrong.
It's not fraud if you have permission.
Yeah, but I don't think like here's my credit card and hold up a picture of it. I don't.
Oh, that
really-
now.
Yeah, I don't think that'll work.
You're beginning to say something, Austin, but you're muted.
Go ahead, Austin.
You had.
He's still muted.
You're still muted.
Software muted.
Sorry, I was stating that I had no recollection of that I was even going to say something. So
Yeah, you would put your hands up like this, like you were starting to say something as Frank, as if something had come to mind, and then just stop.
oh, I have no recollection of this. So
I got to witness it and hear it in real time because you might have been over there when I heard you from across the room.
okay,
You started saying something and I couldn't catch what you were saying before you just stopped.
it was at least 15 seconds ago. I can't be held accountable to remember that long ago.
That is
Even, it was like 20
100%.
seconds.
That is 100% fair.
Same.
It was like 20 seconds now.
Oh my god, y'all are counting seconds.
I have ADHD. I count seconds.
I know.
Anyway,
So now that I've completely derailed the conversation into getting lunch,
No, I think
You distracted Joe.
I think the conversation needed to be derailed.
I think we all could use with some food because people get very angry when they don't have food. And so I think we could all stand to be on a more in a more stable place if we're going to contemplate murder. Or plan it. Not really contemplate it because we already decided on it, didn't we? If we're going to plan murder,
If we're going to premeditate a murder,
we need to do it on a, full stomach.
If
Fair
you
enough.
give a changeling Chinese food. I just said if you give a changeling Chinese food.
Give a massive cookie.
all right. So what are we ordering?
Mongolian barbecue?
Works for me. Joe, you go ahead and order, and Tia, I know what you need and what you want. How about you two go into the other room and have a conversation?
All right.
Yeah, we can probably do that. Go ahead and place whatever you want for your order.
Joe will do that and then hand the phone off to
Then she
somebody
will. Cassandra will take the phone and begin taking orders for people, and we'll get that set up.
And before Joe leaves the room, however, she's got to turn to Marlena, give Marlena a little shoulder hug, go, "Thanks, Mom, I love you," and walk out of the room.
mm-hmm.
So as Tyr follows Joe out to have a conversation, and as a takeout order is placed, and we'll see how that pans out. That's where we're gonna end for the week.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know why I began to do the break thing. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.